I often get a question from people who stutter, which is, does speech therapy work? Do I need speech therapy, or will it work for me? And even though I'm preaching about my own frequent stutter program as the best program for stuttering, the truth is, maybe you don't need speech therapy. Let's find that out. So the first thing why we need speech therapy is getting from reading, thinking, dreaming, visualizing, which is all great, but going from that state to action, to actually doing something about stuttering. And it might seem obvious, but we really need to realize that reading about stuttering, watching about stuttering, thinking about stuttering, these are all great, but the only thing that can change the way we speak and we interact with other people is only speaking, interacting with other people. And speech therapy obviously opens the door to that speaking and interacting. Now, many people open a different door to get to that action mode, action state, become more active without speech therapy. And I want to give you some examples to really show and inspire you. Chase Gillis, Rick Scudo, Pedro Pena, and Laurent Barton, just to name the few. And all they do actually, they expose themselves to other people. They speak. They either run a YouTube channel, a podcast, or they just go public speaking regularly. So they just get active, open up, speak, and expose themselves. So if you could do that, you don't need the speech therapy. You can start being active right now. Now, I couldn't. I needed speech therapy to, again, open the door to being more active. I needed some tools so that I could be more active on a more confident level. I needed some help and guidance. And some people might say, no, I'm not ready to expose myself to speaking, public speaking. And I'm also not ready for the speech therapy. I can totally get it because that's where I was back in the day. It took me 10 years from actually deciding that I want to do something about my speaking to actually going to the speech therapy that I liked. The best advice, how to speed it up, how to move faster in that direction from thinking, dreaming, hoping to actually doing something. The best advice is personal development. Please share in the comments what's your favorite book, what's your favorite source on personal development. Because I'm sure all those books, again, everything that I've seen, they all come down to one simple idea, that you are the master of your life. It's you who decide about your life, not stuttering decides for you. You decide, you choose what you're gonna do with your life, with yourself, how you're going to interact with other people, with the world itself. If you still don't have your source of inspiration, your favorite personal development book, Google that. Just Google best books on personal development. They will get you closer to acting, to living, to being true to yourself. It's easy to stay like flat, saying it's okay, everything is okay. In fact, avoiding, hiding, escaping. Always saying, yeah, but stuttering. Yeah, but stammering. We don't want stammering, stuttering hold us back in our life. Now, when we finally decide to take action, to take massive action, to change something in our life, we see so many speech therapies, experts, gurus, programs, courses. And the first thing to realize here that there is no quick change. And it sounds kind of obvious, but we love false promises because they sound so nice. come join our 2 or 3 days workshop and we'll teach you how to speak. We'll remove your anxiety. You will finally know the natural way to speak. Now, there might be, of course, and there are brilliant, awesome 2, 3, or X day workshops, programs. But we want to be very clear. We're going to find some knowledge about some tools, about some attitudes. We're going to find some useful, maybe, information. But it's not going to change our speaking pattern, the way we speak. Because our speaking is all about muscle and emotional memory. It's pretty much automated. So if someone is promising you radical change, fluency, freedom in a matter of days, you don't need such speech therapy. The second thing you want to take notice when you're choosing your speech therapy or program is how it deals with the inside, with the emotional side of speaking, with the mental side, with our attitude, with what we think about ourselves. In other words, with our stuttering shame. Because stuttering obviously has two big elements, the physical part and the underlying part. The embarrassment, the feelings, the fear, the anxiety, the avoidance behaviors. Everything that forms that huge stuttering iceberg. What are the practical ways how to deal with that? How to tackle that inner state? If your speech therapist is focused only on the fluency part, on the speaking part, if your therapist is calling stuttering a mistake and he or she is going to teach you the right way, well, you'd better be very, very skeptical, because you can improve your fluency, but if you don't accept yourself the way you are, you will always feel tension, you will always feel pressure. That will lead you back to stuttering. Stuttering is not a mistake. There is nothing to beat yourself up for. We want to feel good about ourselves and about improving our speaking as well. There is nothing wrong with working on your speech. And the third element I want you to question is the real life. How your knowledge, how your skills, your new techniques, your new speaking, the way you speak now, move from the therapy room to the real life. You want to be very clear about the steps. How do you move there? If the answer of your therapist is only, well, once you learn it in the therapy room, you'll be fine everywhere, it's not quite working. What's the difference between just reading out loud, for example, at home, and the speech therapy in this case? We can improve at home. There are millions of ways to do that by ourselves. The question is to have something that we can use in real life. In the Free From Stutter program, for example, it's the hand stuttering technique. So we're using hand to make sure that our training speech that I'm using right now doesn't collapse in real life. And with that transformation from the therapy room to the real life, you want to see real results. It's not only like before and after. You want to see the results on the way. Is there any public speaking, any practices with real people? And if your therapist is saying, yeah, we have real results, but it's privacy, everything is private. If public speaking, public practice is not part of your strategy, we become the prisoner of the therapy room. That's what we conquer. That's where we feel fine. But it stays there. So don't buy into the privacy thing. Seek real results from real people. So you decide to take action. You find your therapy. Now what's next? And next is the journey. I've seen so many people stutter who said, I've tried this and this and this and this. Nothing worked, and finally I realized something. We want to realize that becoming open, active, and positive about ourselves, our speaking, improving our fluency, overcoming stuttering, call it whatever, getting free from stuttering as I call it. It's like playing golf. It's not the one-shot game, like boom, and you got it. Well, you can play a one-shot game. Of course, free from stutter program. It's usually several shots game. When you make a shot, then you walk there, not quite there, you make another shot, getting closer, so that you finally get to the point, to the place where you want to get to, where you want to be, where you really feel great about speaking interaction, because eventually that's what we want to have. It's not exactly the fluency thing. You can take a look at the short clip with Rowan Atkinson.
And I said, well, actually, I am the actor who plays Mr. Bean. And he said, I bet you wish you were. And there followed this bizarre conversation in which the more I tried to claim that I was the person whom he thought I merely resembled, the less he believed me. But what was funny was how close he thought I was to you know, he said the resemblance is uncanny.
He stuttered, right? But he didn't feel anything bad about it. No tension is there attached. That's the feeling regular people have about their speaking. So when you go for the speech therapy, you want to realize that this is the beginning of your journey. Journey not only in terms of the speaking stuff, but more importantly, the journey of building your confidence and self-esteem, of becoming more open and outgoing, dealing with the very, very deep emotional layers. Because the way we interact with other people, it's not the vocal cords only. Vocal cords is the tip of the iceberg. Can we change that? We definitely can change the way we feel about speaking interaction. And if you choose the speech therapy wisely, it opens the door to the journey of self-exploration, becoming more open, active, and positive about yourself. So thank you so much for watching. For more videos, subscribe to this YouTube channel. For more interaction, join Free From Stutter Facebook group. And if you're thinking about the big change, about something radical, join my free improve training where I'm sharing my view, how we can change our speaking pattern and the feeling we have about the speaking interaction. Thank you so much. See you in the next video. Well, you can play a one-shot game.